Senator Roberts.
Thank you, President. Change is coming. Following One Nation's best ever federal election result in May, our party leader, Senator Pauline Hanson, declared on national TV, "This was not the end of an election. This was the start of a movement." The public have already responded, with party membership surging and our post-election polls support increasing. This was a trying election, though. Micro-parties on the Conservative side fought One Nation harder than they fought our political opponents on the Communist left. So many called for a coalition of Conservative parties, an idea that sounds great in theory, yet created an unworkable Frankenstein. Setting our movement back years to allow the organisation and recalibration needed to merge disparate political positions, if indeed it were possible at all. Australia does not have years to lose. The lights are going off in this parliamentary term. One more term from Labor or the globalist Liberals and Australia will be past the point of no return. One Nation has been here for 28 years. Our party's character has been forged in success and in failure, in legal warfare, media bastardry, lies, party infiltration, even prison charges that were trumped up and ultimately struck down. And every development has made us stronger, more determined, more organised and more ready than ever to take the government benches from those who do not govern in the best interests of Australia. Only One Nation has the strength of conviction, the unity of purpose and the courage necessary to restore abundance and opportunity to all Australians. Only One Nation represents the entire Australian people. Let me give you an example that 12 Tasmanian senators ignored, none of whom are One Nation senators, which is why I'm having to raise this. There's a new crisis in regional banking services because Bendigo Bank is now closing 10 branches and 28 agencies, 5 of the branches that are the last banks in their towns. For those communities, that is devastating. This is happening because Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has ignored the report of the Senate Rural and Regional Affairs and Transport Committee inquiry into bank closures in regional Australia. The government is supposed to respond within 90 days. It's been 14 months and the government has simply ignored it. The inquiry lasted 15 months and held 13 public hearings where locals in town after town after town testified that banks were lying when they claimed people didn't need branches anymore. The report observed, quote, "When banks close their branches in regional areas, the impact on individuals and communities can be devastating and far-reaching, especially when it's the last bank in town." This is what Queenstown in Tasmania is facing when they lose their Bendigo Bank branch in September. This is not only the last bank in town, it's the last bank on the entire west coast of Tasmania. The locals will have no choice and will be forced to drive 2.5 hours over icy mountain roads to the next closest bank in Burnie. On Tuesday night, the West Coast Council passed a unanimous motion calling on the Albanese government to respond to the Senate inquiry. To respond! There's no doubt that had the government responded to the report and its powerful recommendations, it's unlikely Bendigo Bank would be closing these branches. It's a scandal for this government to waste the hundreds of thousands of dollars on an inquiry into rural banking services and then ignore the outcome because it may interfere with the bank's cashless society agenda. I call on all senators to join me in demanding the government take the Senate inquiry outcome seriously and fully implement all their recommendations. I now make note of Prime Minister Anthony Albanese's disgraceful attempt to sabotage my office over the last few weeks. The Prime Minister has cancelled the positions of my 2 advisers and then this week arranged their notices of dismissal. I am their employer. They don't work for you, Mr Prime Minister. They work for me. How dare you terminate my staff? What gives you the right to select my team? Using parliamentary staffing allocations to take all the staff of an independent or crossbench senator breaks a convention, a trust going back 100 years. Denying me and Senator Whitten, Senator Stacey and Senator Payman any advisers at all is a disgraceful act. One Nation has always welcomed policy debates and contests in the court of public opinion. This Prime Minister, though, would rather shut the opposition up than debate his rancid, divisive, wasteful policies with the one party prepared to provide real opposition, better policies and a real vision to restore Australia's abundance. A vision that looks after the Australian people, instead of Labor Party donors, unions and globalist powers. What a bloody disgrace. This is not over.